What's going on, you guys? TBR here, back yet again with another King of Fighters All-Star video, and in today's video we have a very exciting topic because we have our first glimpse at the next EX fighter for EX Volume 3, and of course, it is officially EX Kronin. That is right, you guys, we were correct in guessing from that image that we got the other day. That silhouette is EX Kronin in all of his glory, and in today's video, we have an image over on the official forums as part of a new event quiz that we are going to be taking a look at, and we are going to be able to derive quite a bit from this character because there is a lot of information in this one GIF. But before we go ahead and get into all of that and more, make sure if you guys haven't already done so, you smash that like button and subscribe. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video, shall we? So, we are over here on the official forums. If you guys want to check this out, link will be in the description as always. This is going to be a 3-day long event quiz, so you shouldn't have much trouble getting this thing accomplished, and the rewards are actually pretty nice. So we'll take a look at it here. So this is going to be going on from today through the 26th. So make sure that over the course of the next 3 days that you guys get this answered. And the question is pretty simple, and we are going to be going into what the answer is and kind of going into detail about why this is going to be the answer. But basically, the question is, when using the Awaken skill, what is the effect of increasing the attack power by 20% for every 1 power gauge consumed, right? So you've got these 4 different options. Really, there's only one that makes sense. It's max mode, right? That only makes sense. There's plenty of evidence in this image that we're going to go over, but 100% I think it's max mode, and I don't think there's much question about that, so that's going to be your answer. So as far as the rewards are concerned, and then we'll take a look at the image in question, the rewards are as follows. Everybody who does this is going to get the EX Battle Card Pickup Summon tickets for Volume 3, so you're going to get 5 of those just for participating. And then participants with the correct answer are going to get an additional 5 tickets, this time for the EX Volume 3 fighters. So that is pretty much what we are going to be seeing as far as rewards here. Like I said, pretty darn good. It would have been nice if they'd have done a full multi, but hey, beggars can't be choosers when it comes to Netmarble. So that is what it is. So as far as the answer here and max mode, so we know that max mode, according to this, is going to give us 20% attack power for every 1 power gauge consumed when awakening, right? So what does that all mean? We're going to take a look at the image and figure it out. So we take a look here, and now this is something that I actually slowed down in my editing software, and I took a look at all of this stuff frame by frame as best I could. This thing's a little bit jumpy, so there's a little bit that I wasn't able to figure out, but there's a lot that we can derive from this. But let's talk about max mode first. So max mode, basically, according to what they have in the poll, is basically going to consume your power gauge, and for every 1 bar you get 20% attack, right? So this happens when you awaken your character. If we take a look at this image, right? So at the beginning here, right here, we hit the awaken, and you notice that blue M above our health bar on Cronin, right? Take a look at it. It shows up right after he hits the awaken button, right? So that blue M has a little number next to it also, right? It's a little circle, it's a little blue circle, it's the only one above his health bar there. It shows up after he hits awaken, and it's got a number in it. That number is 5, right? Well, how many bars did he have when he hit awakening? He had 5. So that is basically indicating how many bars were consumed. So if we do the math on that, that's 20 times 5, right? So we are basically getting a whopping 100% attack up just for hitting awakening with this skill, right? So that is basically what they've got going on there, in my opinion. I think that's the answer, mainly because max mode is of course going to be something from the King of Fighters canon from the games proper, so it only makes sense. And for anybody asking, it says Awaken Max Mode on the side there, but I think it says that for every character. I could be wrong, but I don't think that's directly related to this. But at the same time, I knew somebody was going to point that out, so I figured I'd bring that up. But I have tested it. It is something that I think shows on everybody. So, but that max mode looks interesting. 100% attack up for having full bars when you use your Awakening. Yikes. And it's a really cool skill too, if that is the way that this is going to work, because typically speaking, if you're awakening and you're going to be using your awakening spam, you're not going to be using your finisher during that awakening spam anyway, and you're going to have it back up by the time your awakening is off its rotation because you're going to have spammed so many skills. So you're basically getting a really, really strong buff there if that's going to be the way that it's working. So that pretty much sounds like what we're getting as far as that's concerned. Let's talk about other things that we can derive from this image, since we've already talked about max mode, and it would seem as though that is going to be how that works. So, if we take a look at a few things here, of course, Kronin is going to be a purple defense type. I think that that's a little bit of a strange typing for him. However, it is what it is. I don't think typing anymore really is going to make or break a character outside of things such as reviving Hell's Dungeon, and even then, that isn't necessarily what makes or breaks them, although it can be a major boon to their performance there. However, beyond that, other things that we can tell as far as skills are concerned. Of course, we already knew what his 3PG finisher was going to be. What else was it going to be? It is, of course, going to be that move, right? So we all knew exactly which one it was going to be, and I cannot wait, like I mentioned, to see how it's animated. So as far as other things in here, though, you're going to see the normal skills. Basically, we're going to have a blast, a strike, and a charge skill. You can tell that because it does have the little lightning bolt emblem next to it, and that is going to be on his S3. That S3 is, of course, going to be his max fusion blaster, which, yeah, I was really excited whenever he was the character that we knew we were going to be getting to see that skill on his kit as well. I just like that skill. I'm a huge sucker for this character in general, mainly any of the characters. Like, you guys know I love Nameless. You guys already know that anybody in that kind of sphere I'm going to like. And when it comes to Cronin, being that he has the history behind him that he does, I think he's just super unique and super cool. And I'm a huge Akira fan, and you know, I mean, I'm just glad that Tetsuo got some work after Akira, right? So, jokes aside, the skills also have clear effects on them, right? So let's talk about those. So we do know that Kronin is unfortunately going to be another burn-based character, right? We see that here. He is going to have burn on his kit. Netmarble's favorite dot in the world is going to be burn, so it is what it is, right? Now, beyond the burn, he's also going to have petrify, right? So petrify is also going to be something on there. So that is very interesting. You see that as he petrifies this little mob here. So that's another thing that he clearly has on his kit. And beyond that, there's not a whole lot else that I can really tell from this. Even when slowing it down, beyond the obvious, there's really not a whole lot else I can derive from everything that's going on here. I'm assuming he's going to have things like Infernal Flame. We pretty much can see the indicators there of that. He has Petrify, we know that. And beyond... And a quick editing note. So something I had noticed while I was in editing that I did not catch in the times that I had looked at this before is going to be the fact that Kronin is going to have his hyper armor on his S3, which is of course going to be his fusion blaster. So real quick here, when he goes ahead and uses this, you'll see it right there, boom, pops up over his head. We'll wait for it one more time. But basically what this means, you'll see it right here, boom, there it is. So he is going to have hyper armor on the S3. This isn't necessarily anything too surprising. However, being the fact that the hyper armor is going to be on his charge projectile skill, which is going to be his fusion blaster, yeah, I would say that that's pretty darn good. So overall, this character is shaping up to be quite nice. So we'll have to wait and see what the rest of the kit brings along with it. I just figured I'd go ahead and give you guys that quick update. Now let's go ahead and get back to the video. So in general, that's pretty much what we can tell from this. So I think that the big thing that we're going to be talking about going into this release is probably going to be max mode in general, and just how good that ends up being on this character. It'll be interesting to see how that works in performance as far as overall damage output, being the fact that this character could end up having a max mode that is giving him 100% attack up during his awakening, and he has a charge skill on the S3, which is going to automatically be charged on your charge skills for any of your charge skills when you're awakened, automatically fully charged, and he's just tossing those out there on top of the fact that he has that 100% attack up. This character's damage output could be ridiculous, and I know some people out there would see the typing and go, well, he's a defensive type. It can only be... We've had so many defensive types in the game that have been absolutely ludicrous in damage by comparison to anybody, that it really doesn't matter what your typing is when it comes to your damage output. It's just another thing on your kit. It really doesn't matter. So, you know, at the end of the day, there's nothing stopping this character from being one of the top characters in the game on damage, and it's surely not going to be his typing. So that isn't something I'm concerned about. Other things about this character, though, that I have question marks on. I am very curious to see what the cores look like. That's going to be the biggest thing. We know what the dot is going to be if this is the only dot he has. it is what it is. We've seen characters that have mono dots before just be absolute wrecking balls in any of the modes, so again, that isn't really necessarily the biggest deal in the world. It's just always nice to have mixed dot coverage, specifically for things such as Inferno difficulties, but let's face it, those aren't really anything but a joke for most of these characters anymore anyway. So yeah, guys, I think that overall this is shaping up to be pretty good. This character's skills are extremely quick. It looks like he's probably going to have a very good rotation on his awakening. And yeah, I'm seeing a lot of stuff to like just based on this very preliminary look at this character. But in general, let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about Kronin. He's looking very fun to me, and I could just be biased because I've been waiting for this character and I really want this character and I will be pulling for this character. The model looks phenomenal, and in general, I know a lot of people are going to get on me because they know that there's probably a collab coming up in the next month or two, but yeah, it's EX Kronin. I'm pulling. But anyway, you guys, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed it or found it informative, smash that like button and subscribe. Make sure that if you guys have not already done so, you go in here and you vote on this, or you go ahead and answer this rather, so that way you can go ahead and pick up these prizes, because those prizes are very, very good. And in general, let me know in the comment section what you guys think about all this. But until the next time, you guys, you all take care. Peace.
Continue.